Right now, we are living history. We are in unprecedented times. Things are happening around us that are causing confusion, hurt, anger, and bringing up many uncomfortable conversations. I, for the past couple weeks myself, have been in a place where I'm just feeling so many different emotions. And as Ava DuVernay said recently, we feel like we're living in tough times, but we're really living in important times. And that's how I'm choosing to look at it today. So, a lot of times, many of us really don't know what to do. Sometimes the best thing to do is to not stay silent, but speak up. And today, I want to just speak up in a small way and voicing and using my talk show as a platform to discuss these important topics that are going on in the world today. The things that we say here today are our opinions. It's our true feelings, what we really feel in our hearts, and the things that we've experienced in our lives. So don't judge, just listen and understand. And let's all just join together, everyone of all races and all peoples and all groups, and just all come together and embrace each other so we can make the world a better place. I feel like we're on that path, don't you? We're getting there. People's eyes are opening up to the injustices and seeing where we need equality in our world. So just continue to stay strong and talk. And I truly believe that we will be and see the change in the world that we are so desperately seeking. Today's guest is Stephen St. Pierre, who was a friend of mine in the acting world and a true artist. And I wanted to have him on today to get his point of view onto what he's thinking and feeling and seeing in society as well as our industry. So join us as we have this conversation together. And I hope you will enjoy. Okay.
I knew you were gonna do that. I was like, she's gonna do it one more time. Watch, and then she's gonna get into it.
I have to get it out. I have to.
I knew. I was trying to hold it in. I was like, I know she's. I know she's. I was like, I can't smile. I can't laugh. And then you broke the
Oh
moment.
man, I broke. I'm sorry. Let's redo. Hey everyone, we're here with a good friend of mine, Stephen St. Pierre. I'm so happy that he agreed to be on the show with me today. We have been friends for quite a while now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of forgot how we met. Maybe we could get into that a little bit, but
Sure. Yeah. I forget how we met. I'm sure acting related. I'm just not sure like exactly like what event or
exactly.
I have a feeling it's with a certain place that I don't want to mention right now, but
Yeah. We won't talk about that.
we won't talk about that. But that's a whole other topic. But yeah, I have a feeling it might have been there somehow. But all I know is that when I come across people that are real and that are genuine, and people that watch my show, you're gonna know everyone I have on is just 100 people that are just 100, and Steven is definitely one of those people. So
I
thank you
appreciate that.
for being on my show today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor, to be on it. I didn't have to like hunt you down and send you 1,000 text messages to get on. So, that's good.
Yeah, that is good, right? Actually, you kind of did, but we won't talk about that. He threatened me too, but we won't talk about that
Right.
either. So anyhow, so let's just rewind once again a little bit and let the audience get to know a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, and what your passions are.
Right. Yeah, like like you mentioned, Keisha, we met in the industry, acting industry. So I am an actor, also a writer and director, and just an overall content creator. I kind of just like to just make content whenever the mood strikes. Whether it's comedic, dramatic, have a message, just to entertain, or what have you. So uh, yeah, born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. So I'm a New York dude, born through and through, and yeah, right now it's just kind of navigating the industry, especially with this coronavirus situation going on. Kind of been out of work production wise, but still just staying creative and writing and still making like videos from home. Submitting to these challenges, doing these Instagram
Yeah.
challenges, monologue scenes, or what have you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
When we're done, everybody has to go to Steven's Instagram. I'll definitely link that up to the show. But he did a little skit on, what was that movie called again?
Uncorked. Yeah,
Uncorked.
yeah, by
Oh,
Prentice Penny.
y'all, you gotta go and watch that because it was dope. I mean, and he got like all kinds of people all kinds of views. And so when you're done watching this, you go to his Instagram, check that out. But that's the kind of stuff we all love about Steven, because he's like, I think the thing I love about you is that you are you're fun and you're funny, but you also have this side of you that is just, genuine and caring, and just, dedicated, and just you have this sensibility about you with other people. So it's just such a good balance. Such a
Thank
good
you,
balance.
thank you. I tried to walk, a straight and positive line to get to heaven. When
Yeah.
my when it's all said and done. So,
Right, right, right.
I'm not perfect by any means of the imagination, but I try every day. Just to be
Yeah.
the best person
Speaking,
to everybody.
one other thing I want to touch on, which before you forget, is your short film that you made, Corey.
Right. Yeah.
So
So yeah, talk. Like I mentioned, I'm an actor,
yeah.
and as you know, Keisha, auditioning and having to be, given a chance to be able to do what you love.
Hmm.
I decided that okay, if I'm an actor, I don't have to wait for somebody else to validate that, right?
Hmm.
If you're an actor, you can act whenever you want, doing whatever you want. So I decided I'm going to start writing and make my own content. So Corey is a short film I wrote and directed.
Hmm.
I went to a producer friend of mine, Rui Coleman, and I said, "Hey, I got the script." I just kind of like wrote it out, and
Yeah.
what do you think? She loved it. She said, "All right, let's raise some money and let's make it." And it kind of just went from there, and just yeah, and like you mentioned, I my sensibility, and it's a little weird because I love laughing and I love to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Just as Steven, not even being an actor or anything like that, just myself. But then when it comes to acting, I get uh, called in for like a lot of serious roles, dramatic
Hmm.
roles, and things
Hmm.
like that. So that's why I do all the other things comedically. But then the short film comes out of me, and it's a heavy situation.
Yeah.
It's about
What?
a young dad whose wife battles drug addiction
Mm.
as he fights to protect his family, um, and stop the cycle. So
Mm-hmm.
as fun as I can be, I still have the other side of trying to get these
Yeah,
stories out. Yeah.
definitely. And that movie did well. You won several awards.
Yeah, yeah, we were fortunate to get a lot of attention for it.
Hmm.
We were over like 20 film festivals.
Wow.
Um, so it took me all over the country and even outside the country a
Wow.
couple times.
Yeah.
And won a handful of awards, which I'm grateful and blessed for. Because when you do these things, you don't know or think what can come of it, right? It
Hmm.
literally was just me saying, I want to write something and act in something. And
Wow.
then the story kind of hit me, and then it just took its, yeah, it just
Yeah.
became something else.
And I want us to put a pin in that. We're gonna come back to that in a moment. But another thing I want to jump into is how long have you been acting and in the business? Because it's not it's a journey.
Right.
It doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey, and it takes time. So how long have you been grinding? I guess I should say.
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse that I wasn't one of those like drama kids or theater kids. You know, it wasn't something that I actively or consciously knew I wanted to do as a kid. You know, I was more of a sports person, sports and books. I played basketball. That was my passion growing up. So I
Mhm.
kind of found acting about 6 years ago is when I really, really like started to be curious
Mhm.
about it. You know,
Mhm.
I had friends who were like taking classes and starting their journey.
Mhm.
And then I had like one person I went to college with who she had been grinding since we left college, and I saw her rise. I'm just like, oh wow, like that's amazing. So I
Wow.
kind of just like reached out to her, like, you know, just ask her a few questions, like, hey, how do I do this? You know, like,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
so yeah, so about five, so then like 5 years I took my first acting class, literally an acting for beginners class. And yeah, 5 years later, here we are, just kind of navigating the industry, figuring things out, learning the craft and learning the business because you know show business for a reason. You know, as talented and skillful as you can be in your ability,
Yeah.
that means nothing if people don't see you, you don't market yourself correctly,
Mhm.
and really get yourself in front of the right people. You know, to see that talent. You know, because a lot of people are talented, as you know,
Yes.
Keisha. Like, there's people out there who are just like monsters when it comes to performing, but people don't see it. You know,
Right.
I
And
had a teacher tell me that once, like, you're talented, but nobody knows. So you got to
uh,
get yourself out there. So
yeah, yeah. But you have had some success recently, haven't you?
yes,
Recently you were on a well-known show,
I
right?
was.
Yes.
Yes, I
Tell us
was.
about that.
Yeah, I had got booked on HBO's High Maintenance. Uh,
Yay.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, season 4, episode 5. In case anybody wants to go back and check that out. And yeah, it was a dope experience. I mean, you know, the casting office was very gracious with me. You know, because I was flubbing lines and messing up a little bit, but you know it just teaches you that sometimes people already see
That's
what it is they see in you as the person that they're trying to cast you for, and it's just a matter of just doing the work and coming to the room with that.
mhm.
And the lines don't matter as much, you know, in those situations. You know, when you get to set, you know, have the lines right then, obviously, but the audition is just kind of like embodying the character, and that's what they want to see, you know. And
Right.
he just, you know, had me do it a couple of times on tape, and then
I
we got
love
it out.
that I love that you brought that up because that's happened to me too a lot of times. People will be like, what are you doing? You know, ask you questions and there have been times where I you know, had that I booked a job and I had flubbed the line in the room or it wasn't as perfect as I thought it was gonna be, but I ended up booking it and I'm just like, wow, you know, we're so worried about trying to get word perfect or have it so perfect.
Hmm.
And like you said, that's not what it's all about,
Nope.
you know.
Oh,
So that's really I like that you mentioned that. So it's an encouragement to other actors that if you make a mistake in the room, keep going because
right,
you know, as long as you have embodied the character and you're strong in that, just be like, okay, do it again, and, you know,
right,
and that's it. Don't lose
right.
yourself, you know. And then
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's really
Being
cool.
prepared, being prepared, you know, knowing who the person is, and
Hmm.
then just letting it go, you know, because our everyday selves, right? We don't go into any situation kind of like planning what we're gonna say, really. So if you're flubbing words, that doesn't mean anything, but you're coming into a situation being who you are. So
Right.
you're already that person,
Yes.
you know, and what you're trying to convey or what you're trying to get or what you want is going to
Mhm.
come out in the moment, you know. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing. That's great. And also you know, I'm digging into something a little bit deeper here. I spoke recently to a casting director and she was just saying that, you know, a lot of times too, when you get called back into a casting room more than once, that's a sign that even though you didn't book it, you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing.
Right.
And so don't be discouraged when you don't book, you know.
Exactly.
So that was encouraging to me when she said that.
Yeah, they notice that you're capable and you're doing the work. So they're
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, if we call her in for this next role, we know she's going to come in
Mm-hmm.
having done the work and showing us what you got. So that's
Exactly.
really it's about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah. So okay, so like I said, put a pin in what I said earlier. We're gonna come back to this again. You mentioned something when you were talking about Corey
Hmm.
about how you had decided you wanted to create something for yourself because there's not much out there, you know, and to be for you to be seen.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I saw recently on your Facebook, you recently posted a really great, I guess, introspection into what you deal with in your everyday life. Um, Maybe not every day, but you know what I mean,
Mhm.
like in your life
Right.
over the span of your life. And I feel like, and I wonder that the comment that you made about not getting seen is partially due to as well the fact that for people of color that we're not afforded as many opportunities in productions, and so therefore, we create our own, and
Right.
sometimes even when we create our own, how far does that even get? Because I know, even in person like Jamal, which I've had on the
Yeah,
show,
we both know. Yeah,
somebody like him should be like,
yeah.
so certain
Skyrocketing.
people, yeah, there's very few like the Ava DuVernays and people like
Mhm.
that have made a way for themselves. And so here we are fighting for ourselves and having to create our own work in order to be leads in things. So I feel like, this whole situation with George Floyd and all this that's happened has really opened up a lot of conversations. A
Definitely.
lot of conversations.
Definitely.
So that is one of the things that I also wanted to kind of chat with you about today too, where
Mhm.
your head was at in regards to, I guess, in general in the world,
Yeah.
and even as it relates to acting.
Right. Yeah. I mean, um, you referenced the Facebook. I went on Facebook Live, and it's actually that was my first live that I did.
That's intimidating, right?
Yeah, it was.
I have no desire to do that Instagram live. I'm like, I'm
Listen.
like, why am I so afraid? I'm an actress. Like, I just
Yeah,
something
but we don't
about
have
it,
a script. We don't have the preparation to,
right? I can't edit it.
yeah, you can't edit it. No cut. Let me do it
Uh,
again. Like it's just raw and
it's that and the fact that like if nobody jumps in, it's like no one's
oh,
watching me.
forget about it. And if you go to my Instagram, like you mentioned, I actually did like a little 1 minute like parody of someone trying to go on live and they have nobody coming in. Like I just sat there, just gonna wait for people to come in the room. Okay, nobody yet. Okay, I'm just gonna give it another minute, and let the room fill up, and there's nobody there. All of a sudden, I get trying to end the live because there's nobody in it.
And
But it
that's
is scary.
the most awkward moment too when you're trying to end something. Even on
Oh
Zooms, you're like ending and you're just sitting there. Everyone's just like
yeah, looking like a deer in headlights.
silent.
Or don't let somebody else be in a room and then you're about to end it, and then they think you're ending. They say something like, "Yeah, yeah, yo, just listen, just put the baby in the carriage, all right?" And you're just like, "Wait, what?" It's, like, it's still
Oh my
on there.
gosh, it's too much. It's too
Yeah,
much.
it is. It is. But I did sit there for like a good 20 minutes before actually hitting that go live button, like with the
Yeah.
camera just sitting
About it,
there.
right? I don't know.
Yeah, just thinking about it, just like, damn, am I really gonna do this right now? Ooh, you know what? But you know what happened, Keisha? What really kind of like propelled it? Obviously, the whole George Floyd situation, right? And the police brutality and the racism that's rearing its ugly head once again, because it kind of goes in waves
Yep.
publicly. It'll die down publicly for a while, then it'll come back with
Mhm.
another senseless murder or what have you.
Yeah.
And clearly, the state we're in right now is George Floyd was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? It's just like
Mhm.
it was a perfect storm. We're in quarantine, everyone's home. We
Yeah.
had Ahmaud Arbery,
Mhm.
Breonna Taylor, and then George for all in succession within 10-day span that just kind of like electrified everybody, right? It opened up the world.
Mhm.
So I'm sitting there and I'm still kind of seeing a lot of people I know are silent or not really, what I'm saying, getting into the conversation.
Yeah.
And on Facebook is where most of my non-black and white audiences, friends, acquaintances, colleagues,
Mhm.
supporters, what have you. I said, all right, I'm gonna go on Facebook Live because I feel like a lot of these people know me in some capacity, and care about me as a person, even if it's not that deep,
Mhm.
whether you know me for, 30 days, a year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, they know me
Yeah.
and know what I'm doing, follow me on social media, seeing a part of my life, right?
Mhm.
So I said, I need to go on Facebook Live to kind of just talk about my experiences
Yeah.
because I feel like that might connect their their thoughts to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery,
Yeah.
Eric Garner, that who was killed, the first I Can't Breathe situation right here in my own city.
Mm.
Um, and it might make them kind of realize, oh wait,
Steven's our
he's a
friend.
he's our friend. He's a he's someone because they look and then so I'm sitting there right waiting to hit the live button. And I get a text from somebody. It was a Hispanic friend of mine who could pass for white. He's of the light skinned Hispanic type of person, right? So he texts me and he goes, just love brother. I just wanted to send a message because, it just sucks that people don't see you the way I do. A talented, good, funny, caring person. It sucks that, you and other black people have to go through this kind of thing. And right there, that kind of like gave me the little push to go live because as much as that was a compliment,
Mhm.
that's kind of how a lot of people who see me as it's like they forget I'm a black man because they
Mm,
know me and they think, oh, that would not happen to him. Oh,
right.
he's not like that, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So I said, I got to do this. I got to do this live. I got to talk to the people, let them know my experiences, what I go through, so it can register with them personally,
Mhm.
and it might even if it's just one person, it might move them to action.
Yes. I
You
think,
know,
and just not to interrupt you, but just to add one thing, I think that, because I mean, I have similar things. I mean, because I think the thing is that they don't people don't realize that there's little things that happen as well that make you feel a certain way that we don't sit around and complain about it and say,
right?
we're not sitting around always complaining about the little things.
We'd be complaining all day if that was the case.
Right. So therefore our white Caucasian friends or whatever think that, oh, they're good. They're,
Right.
because we don't have we're not like the George Floyds of this world or
Hmm.
whatever. So therefore they think you're fine, but they
Right.
don't realize that on a daily basis we're dealing with things here and there, somebody
Hmm.
touching my hair or somebody watching you when you go in the grocery store. Yeah, nothing bad happens, but it's like
Right.
that
Yeah.
that you
It's
know
just little microaggressions that add
Yeah.
up, and they stress you out. They weigh on you.
And
And
from good meaning people too sometimes.
exactly, sometimes it's
Yeah.
not everyone is racist, but there is
No.
bias. There's bias and unconscious bias sometimes because of your environment, your upbringing,
Yes.
your whiteness. Just in this world, it's some people are just ignorant to the fact. So that was the majority of my purpose of doing it was for the people who don't consciously think about it or think everything is kind of okay and think, oh no, that was just like one bad person or one
Right.
instant.
That's
Like
the
no, it's
thing. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
it's in totality. It's like they say, it's systemic. It's an institution
Mhm.
of the way we live that allows people to do that and think that and not think anything of it. And
Mhm.
we're the ones that got to deal with it every day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just, I mean, I don't want to make this too long because they could also go to your Facebook and
Yeah.
look it up. But like, can you give like the really, really short version of what you shared? Because that story you shared.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real short version. I was about 18, 19, was hanging at my house like on a college break or whatever it was, a winter break or something. And I grew up in Queens, like I said, so we was going to Merrick Boulevard. For anybody from Queens who knows, um, we were just driving down there to get some food. And there was a black unmarked Jeep following me. And me being from the neighborhood, having been pulled over and things before and seen things, history, I kind of knew what was about to happen. It was one or two things. Either like, we were either gonna get robbed, it was stick up kids, or police detectives, and not just the regular policemen. These are like the ones who are trying to find something. So my two friends are in the car. I circle the block. They follow me a couple turns, and then they go across to the gas station. So when we go in the store, I tell my friends, "Hey, listen, we're about to get pulled over. All right, like we need you to stay safe. So don't make any sudden movements. Stay cool. Put your seatbelts on. Take off your hoodies. Whatever we got to do to just not kind of look threatening to them, because they're looking for a reason. That's like those are the type of cop. That's the cops. Those kinds of cops. They're looking for a reason. So I'm telling them, don't give them a reason. And it's sad that we got to even have these conversations, right?
Yeah.
So, we get in the car, and, as I thought, we got pulled over. But what I didn't know, it was going to be 6 squad cars with their guns drawn, flashlights in our faces, guns in our faces, running up on us and basically intimidating us and being aggressive, tossing us out the car, throwing us in the hood, doing the whole shebang. And, my friend tried to like say something, and then, they yelled and cursed him and kind of pushed them like, we're not talking to you, only the driver.
Mhm.
And, I didn't even want to say anything. I was like, I just want to get home. I'm just going to comply, to say whatever, do whatever I need to do just to get home,
Mhm.
because that could have very well been
That's
uh,
scary how that could change on a that could have just changed on a dime. You
on a
know,
dime. Would be
one
here
time
talking to
one
you
person
today.
reaches for their hand, in their pocket or any, but could just change on a dime.
Right, right, right. So that was that, and then the whole time, they're being like, a holes and everything, and when they searched through the whole car, the trunk, and everything like that, I finally, get a little bit of courage to be like, what's the problem, officer? And they're like, well, um, this car fits the description of a bunch of chicken spot robberies in the area, so we were just, and I'm just like,
All
hey,
that, yeah.
all
Wow.
that for that, so let
Wow.
it go. And like you said about the reaching thing, I just saw a video on Facebook where that kind of happened. There was a guy in a car, and the officer like had his hand on his hip, and he's telling the young man to turn the car off. The man was like, I'm not reaching back, because he had his hands out the car.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not reaching back into this car to turn the car off.
Give you once again a
You
reason.
want to shoot me.
Right. That's a reason. Yes. You can
Yeah.
say he reached
Yeah.
for
He
something.
reached for
That's
something.
your word against mine. Yeah.
Exactly. So that, yeah, that's just a little bit of story. It's
Yeah.
just, it's
Yeah.
a video. You go to my Facebook and check it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah. I mean, it's just tough. It's just really, really tough, and just to share a little bit about myself to people that are watching, and I'm very open about this as well. Pretty much my dad was in the military, so I've lived from California to New Jersey, obviously, and we ended up settling in New Jersey. And so throughout my life, just people always say to me, oh, you don't, whatever, you're not, I'm use the word bougie, but because I talk a certain way and I carry myself
yeah.
a certain way, they think that I maybe grew up in like the the Cosby Show or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type
Right.
thing, which I didn't. My dad worked 3 and 4 jobs just to keep us afloat, right?
Right.
But the thing is that I mean, partially I think it's because we also my parents are Jamaican, so they came here from Jamaica.
Yeah,
And
Jamaicans, there's 10 jobs.
yeah, exactly. That too, right? But I said to one friend that said to me, oh, you were never poor. And I was like, well, yeah, we were, but we struggle, but it's, I think that the difference between me and maybe some, another person could be the fact of where I grew up,
Right.
the places that we happen to land and we happen to live.
Right.
They happen to be predominantly white neighborhoods, mostly because of what my dad wanted to do. He the places that he wanted to study when he was in his training happened to be in these neighborhoods, in these areas. So therefore that's just all I grew up around. So I was definitely one of those kids where I never really saw color, because that was, all I knew. And I never had a problem with them. They never had a problem with me. So I feel in some respects, I even now, like I feel maybe a little naive with things, and I'm learning and seeing, you know, how it's so much deeper, and my eyes really have been open, even me personally as a Black person, through this incident. Because a lot of times I've heard people say this too, like even they'll say, well, what did the guy do to deserve it, or something like that,
Yeah, he's
and
Black.
yeah, and but for me, I'm watching this video and I'm seeing, wow, even if he did deserve it, like, that's like just inhumane, even if he was wrong, not deserve it, but even if, saying if he was wrong, I shouldn't say deserve it, like,
Even if he like
if he was
committed a
wrong,
crime or a petty crime or something small, whatever it is.
committed a crime, exactly. So I think the reason why it hit me so hard was just actually seeing it, like clearly
Mm.
seeing it, like clear as day. And it just it really changed me. It
Yeah,
really.
I think it's the 8 minutes that changed you. Because
Yeah,
it was so like you're like, okay, just like get off him now. Like
right,
there's
right,
nothing more for you to do to him. He's
right,
subdued. I
right.
think that's where, like you said, the inhumane part came, where like this guy does not even look at him as a human being that deserves life right now.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
deciding to take that away from him.
Yeah, it was just a lot. It was just a really a lot for me, and for everybody, the whole world, obviously, you know.
Right. Right.
So therefore, it's time for everybody to wake up, myself included, everybody to wake up, you know.
Absolutely.
And I think people are. It's very uncomfortable, and I understand that. And one of the things that, you know, I'm kind of battling now, and I'm sure you are too, is, you know, when people come to you, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on this,
Hmm.
are white friends that are good friends, I
Right.
mean, very good friends, the people that I love dearly, you know, that feel bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even really know how to approach that, because it's like, first of all, you have never offended me, but I understand where they're coming from,
Hmm.
because you know, who knows what ancestry holds, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right.
um, so it's like it's really tough.
Hmm.
And then you have, and then I was thinking of it, it's interesting. Right now, I'm in a class where my teacher is giving me this script that is from the Freedom Summer in Mississippi, where they went to Mississippi to get their voting rights. And it
Yeah.
was interesting because I'm watching this movie about it. It's on Amazon Prime, actually, called Freedom Summer.
Hmm.
And there were actually a lot of white folks that went to Mississippi to help the Black community get their voting rights.
Mm.
And and it was interesting because they said they actually would interview people, white people, they would interview them because they wouldn't accept everybody. Because they didn't want people that were coming for show. They
Right.
wanted people that were coming to truly help, and people that, and they were going to be working underneath the African American person to, you know, carry this through.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, you know what, when people ask me again, or feel, and then they were talking to themselves how they didn't, you know, they couldn't obviously relate, but they were using their talents that they had.
Hmm.
Like, one man was an artist and he drew everything, he like drew all these
Wow.
things, and that was his talent that he used to bring to the table to
Right.
help the movement. And I was like, wow, this is something that I can share with my friends. You know, if you don't know what to do, use your talents,
Hmm.
use your resources
Hmm.
to help, to further the cause, and fill in the gap, and fix what's broken.
Right.
You know, a lot of them are feeling sorry. You don't have to feel sorry
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that, be active,
Exactly.
you know. So
That's been happening. I mean, how long have we been, going through this? So for you to today to just come out of nowhere, like, hey, I'm sorry.
yeah, it just kind of hits me. I'm like, okay. I'm like,
Yeah,
I thank you, but
yeah, but no, just
yeah,
include us.
yeah,
Be down with us. Like, if
yeah,
you see someone getting hurt, what do? You try to help, right? So we've been essentially getting hurt, and I don't want to like make us sound like victimized or a victim like every day, like we're being
yeah,
battered, this, that, but like like you said, small microaggressions. But this has been going on for hundreds years, whatever. Okay, just in the '60s, things kind of just got liberated, for us, but and it's still not anywhere near where it should be as far as equality is concerned.
mhm,
But it's like, yeah, just help fellow man, help fellow woman. That's all it is. It's really just kind of having each other's backs,
yeah.
So that's
Listening.
something you should practice daily. That should be your, your mantra, your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Not a moment's happening. So let's, you know, s-
On the bandwagon.
yeah, jump on and support black people. Like,
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on it. And let's see, 2021, 2022, if this is still happening,
You still right. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean, I went to a couple of those peaceful protests, and I'm like walking. Me and my sister went to one. I'm looking around. I'm just like, 90% of the people there were white, and I'm
yeah.
thinking, this is interesting. I mean, of course, once again, granted, I was in a township that was probably predominantly white, but I'm
Mhm.
thinking, okay, this is great. This is
Yeah.
wonderful.
But like you said, with
You
the Freedom Mississippi, some are there for real cause and change, and some are there just kind of like walking with the crowd, just kind of
Mhm,
following
mhm,
the crowd, doing what
mhm,
everyone's doing. But
mhm.
hopefully, 40, 50% of them are
That's right.
really gonna
And
be there and
I think they
make
will.
some change.
I
Yeah.
think they will, because I know, at least I know in the artist community, I know that there are many people, many of my friends that I
Right.
know genuinely are ready to make some change. I mean, there's some of them that are more gung ho than I am. So yeah, I
Right.
believe that. I really do. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So going diving into a little bit with when it comes to our what we do in acting.
I was trying to see how you're gonna transition out of that.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you feel? I know, 'cause we could talk about
I
this.
know, yeah, I know,
I have still so many more thoughts. I have so many more thoughts, like
right?
that, and it's actually kind of, you know, good to talk about it though. That's the thing. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
it is. I really truly feel like it's good to talk about it because, you know, there's so many things.
We
So
could talk offline about it, but what I want to do, and I'll let you know more later. I want to have like another, like, just a little forum of just kind of like, some of us that knows each other, and
mhm,
invite someone like our white friends, maybe like 12 people, and just kind of like talk about it,
that would be
just
awesome.
openly talk about it. Yeah.
I love that. That would be great. Yeah, yeah. Because there's it's just a lot. It's just a lot because,
Right.
like I said, even when it comes down to what I said earlier, just where you're. I mean, there's so many factors in your upbringing and all that stuff that puts you in the place that you are in society. And but
Yeah.
that went at the end of the day, it doesn't matter your skin. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're, a CEO of a major company, or if you
Right.
are in the ghetto of Camden, your skin doesn't matter what color your skin is. We still are all dealing with the same thing.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Um, so what are your hopes and dreams, I guess, for how the industry could change as a result of this?
Yeah. I'm hoping it's just the equal opportunity, just the equal opportunity because, like you mentioned before, I'm still coming, I'm still getting in my bag of creating and making content, or even refining my acting talent,
Hmm.
and just being given the opportunity,
Yeah.
we'll be able to show what we're capable of. And hopefully just, industry just giving opportunity, behind the camera, in front of the camera, in executive offices, just having our voices heard, to
Yeah.
be able to give the equal opportunity to be able to tell our stories, from our perspective, the way it really is, because a lot of times we see black stories being told through, white lenses, and it's not reality. And even from our end, sometimes it may not be the total reality, but at least you're hearing it from the source. Is, obviously there's two sides to the story,
Mhm.
and then the third, in the truth. So it's like, we
Mhm.
kind of, you like, they need our voice as well to make the story authentic. Like, you can't just tell our story because it's not authentic. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So you need us.
Well, I really hope that the narrative changes to make it more inclusive, like, even because, I know, once again, for me, when I audition for certain roles, I tend to, once again, because of the way I talk and carry myself, I tend to go in for auditions where I'm up against mostly,
Mm,
white
the white
females.
female, yeah.
Yeah. And therefore, most of the time I lose out because
Mm,
of that. It's just,
mm,
and then for me, it's in the flip side, you know, then you have the quote unquote stereotypical black
mhm,
roles
yeah.
that I don't,
In
necessarily
their
fit.
eyes, yeah, in their eyes,
Yeah,
they don't see, oh no, she's not black. She's not the black we
exactly.
want to see. Like,
Exactly.
she's black, she's
Yeah.
black, she's black. Like,
Yeah.
we're all black. Like there's different kinds
Yes.
of black people.
Yes, exactly. So it's just like sometimes I feel like I don't know where I fit in, you know. So it's tricky. It's very tricky, the whole thing. So I'm just hoping that they could see people like me,
Hmm.
you know, playing a role that maybe they would normally choose a white woman to play, you know. Not saying, and once again, not saying that we want to take all their roles. Everybody, you know,
Hmm.
we just, like you said, want to be equal and seen, given a fair shot based off of talent and if you're right for the role. That's what it comes down to, you know. Maybe for those things I wasn't right for the role, who knows? But I just want to make sure that that is the case. I'm right for the role. I get chosen.
Right.
And also that we don't always have to be those stereotypical hood thugs gangsters unless the story calls for it, because that is real life and we need those
Yeah,
stories.
there are, yeah, and
Yeah.
those there are people like that in every community.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
problem is they always think every black person's like that.
Yes.
That's the difference. They
Yes.
think every black person is like that when there are thugs and criminals in every community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Asian, white, Hispanic, whatever. There's gonna be your,
Yeah.
criminals, thugs. There's gonna be your middle class. There's gonna be your educated and this that in every
In
community,
every community, every race, that you have that.
every race. But for some reason, they just always look at us and think we're all just supposed to be
Yeah.
ghetto thugs,
But
criminals, and this, that, and other. And then they don't. Then if they do have those people, like you said, if that's what calls for it, like get behind the reasons why. Like someone's not just a thug just to be a thug. Like they did come from somewhere. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So how did they get there? What happened in their life?
Yeah.
Maybe they have 6 siblings at home with no parents, and they're on the street trying to hustle so they can
Yeah.
feed
Mm-hmm.
their siblings. You don't know what's going on back home with them. So it's just about just like expanding the story and really showing us in a light that's authentic
Humanized, making them
and
human.
humanizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
like you said, I mean, you know, you look at George Floyd once again, and you know, he has a daughter.
he has a daughter, right?
He
Right.
has a
Family. Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah.
People talked about him. He cried for his mom.
Right. Right.
He was a big dude, and he
Mm-hmm.
cried for his mom. What does that show you? That he's just
He's
a
human.
man. He has a heart. He has a feelings, and you know.
Right.
Ah.
Right. And bring it full circle. We gotta, write our own stories, create our own things, to put yourself in the way you want to be seen and
Mhm.
tell stories of these people like George Floyd and show them, as a three-dimensional
Mhm.
being.
Mhm.
So that's the next step in this industry is really just, kind of really, really taking the reins by the horns and collaborating together to write our stories. And
Mhm.
because we may be getting, this window opportunity, I'm hoping it's permanent, but
Yeah.
if it's going to be a window for like 2 years, whatever, if it's like a 2-year window where they're really, accepting, so we got to just really, really like double down on it right now and write these kinds of stories and get them out now.
Out when people
You
are
know,
willing to support and
willing to support them. Yeah, where people are cutting deals, they're cutting production deals, they're
yeah.
buying scripts, whatever the case may be. And then if we flood the market with these stories and they're successful, because money talks at the end of the day.
Mhm. Mhm. That's
Right?
right. That's right. Yeah.
If we flood the market with these stories and they're successful in the next 2 to 3 years,
Yep.
what's Hollywood gonna
And
say?
if can't talk. And if all else fails, you and I were gonna move to Wakanda. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
We're
Word.
moving.
Right, right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll just go there. We're all as well. We're one people. But
Yeah,
no, seriously. I mean, you think of a movie even like that. I mean, how wildly successful that was.
right. Yeah, it was amazing.
So yeah, so we just need to keep doing more of that, and I feel like it's gonna happen. So I'm just kind of looking forward to what the future holds, and I hope it's not just a fad. I really do. I really hope it's
No.
not. Because that's because I mean I've thought about that. I won't even lie. I've thought let's see how long this lasts.
Right.
You know, yeah. So yeah, because I mean I know like even in this industry, I've struggled with even stuff like my hair,
Mm.
because
Which
now.
looks amazing right now,
Oh,
by the way.
thank you,
Just,
Stephen.
I mean, you're putting me to shame right now.
No, took me.
Right.
But your beard is dashing, I might add as well. So
Thank you. Thank you.
um, but yeah, I just, struggled over that, like, because I happen to just like my hair straight. I like my hair straight. I don't have a problem with it, but then I see on TV now, everybody all of a sudden wants the Black girl to have
Natural,
natural
exactly.
curly hair. And I battled this. I'm like, okay, should I do that? And when
Mm,
I do it, I don't feel like it's just not me.
not you, yeah.
So, and I can and I have, but it's just kind of like those things. I shouldn't have to like worry about not getting a job because I don't
Yeah,
have
because some trend they
nappy
want to
curly
see.
hair,
Yeah.
Um yeah, so it's just things like that. Or same thing for Black men, that I have to try to come in a certain way or talk a certain way. It's like
Mhm.
shouldn't have to worry about those things.
Right.
Yeah. So, but like my good coach Christine Horn says, we got wigs, so I can just change it up anytime I want. So
Yeah, you girls are lucky. You can just, change it up. No
change it up
problem.
anytime I want.
Yeah, it's accepted. It's accepted.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the norm.
Yep, yep. It's a norm. So
Imagine me putting a wig on or something. Can't do it.
you could do that for a skit, like put on a wig and like have different characters. You could do that.
Yeah, when it comes to comedy,
Yeah,
you can just kind of like play around. But for like, a
real
role that calls for, someone with dreads, you're gonna go get like some extensions or put some in your hair just to have the dreads.
right.
Looking crazy.
I know, I know, I know. Oh man, I know. So, but yeah, I mean, I really, like I said, I really hope that we do see some change, and I'm excited to see that people are actually speaking out, talking about the uncomfortable things,
Hmm.
and we'll see how the industry changes, how the economy changes, how our leadership changes.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Anything else you want to add before we check out, or you wanted that's on your burning that you wanted to get off your chest?
No, no, not really. Just thank you again for having me.
Sure, sure,
Um, I'm like you said, I'm sure you'll put the the notes and stuff in the description or whatever. But check me out on Instagram.
sure. Yeah,
I Stephen St. Pierre. Facebook. I
yeah,
Stephen St. Pierre.
yeah.
And just follow me, support me, engage with me. I'm up for dialogue and conversation.
Check out Steven on Instagram. He's at I Steven with a V. Took me a
Right.
long time to get that right because my brother's name was PH. So I remember in the early days, I kept putting PH, and it was like,
Right. PH, those are frauds. And I have a good friend with a PH, and I get on him all the time. I'm like, that does not sound out Steven. Okay.
well, hey, maybe it's my parents. I don't know because they even spell my name Kisha, and everyone. It's I'm like I tell people, yeah, I know it's not phonetic. It should be an E, Keisha, whatever, but it's my name, so spell it right.
Yeah. And I know someone else who spells the name like yours, but they actually pronounce it Kisha.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Steven. So anyway, follow him at I Steven Steven Saint Pierre,
Hmm.
and also on Facebook at Steven St. Pierre. And just follow everything he has to offer and share, and get some laughs here and there, and some knowledge to share. So yeah, so thank you so much for joining me today on the
Thank you.
show. I hope that somebody that was watching or watches this feels inspired, feels motivated, gets a little bit more understanding,
Right.
as to what's going on in the world and in our industry. And you'll see more of us.
No, they definitely will.
Yes, you
This
will.
is literally just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
With the show, with our acting, and
Yeah.
creating. Like
hmm
it's gonna look back and be like, oh yeah, Stephen
Yeah.
St. Pierre and Keisha
Yeah.
Barr.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah, I remember them.
I remember them. Yeah. They're on the stage now, getting their
Right,
Oscars and Emmys.
right, right. Speak it.
Speaking. Speaking. All right, Stephen. Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll
you,
talk
Keisha.
to you again soon. Bye.
All right. Peace.
If you haven't noticed throughout the show today, I've been wearing this amazing t-shirt that says embrace. I love this t-shirt for so many reasons. One of the reasons is because I love hugs. If you know me, I'm a hugger. And so I embrace all the time everyone that is meaningful to me, the people that I love, the people that I care about. And I feel like today, if you look at my t-shirt, it says embrace with race in parentheses, which just reminds us that we need to embrace each other, no matter what you look like, no matter your color, your creed, your upbringing. We need to embrace each other. We don't walk past each other when we're on the street falling down and hurt and in pain. We lift you up. We don't turn a blind eye. When someone is being treated unfairly, we speak up, we say something, we call someone, we do something about it. We don't sit back and not do anything. We embrace each other. We love each other. We see beyond the stereotypes and beyond the color. We just love. Can we do that? Can we just love? My heart is broken. It's broken because we don't see people for the human part that they are, looking at people as humans, human beings. Let's embrace each other and love one another. And this beautiful t-shirt that I'm wearing today is from a friend of mine. Her name is Denise Bond of DB Creations. And one of my goals is to always spotlight people who are entrepreneurs trying to use their creativity for the good and especially now I'm so just thrilled to highlight my people and show how talented they are, and Denise is definitely one of them. And so this t-shirt that I'm wearing today, she created and made it for me, and I would love to give one of them away to one of you today. The description will be below on how you can get one for yourself for free. I will personally buy it for you so I can not only spread the love, but also that I can support a fellow creative, a fellow Black strong woman in what she's trying to accomplish so she can get ahead for herself and for her family. And I hope that you'll do the same, whether you win the contest or not. Go check out what she has to offer because she has so many amazing things, even for moms and dads and grads and all that stuff. So support each other. Black people support Black people. White people support Black people. Black people support white. Let's all just support each other. Love, embrace. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, follow me on my social media. You can find me at Keisha Elaine, at Keisha Bar on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.